Hello, Ellie here from Thankful Flow Yoga. I'm here today with a few stretches that I have specifically put together that may assist some of you with back pain. Now, back pain can be quite a common issue that a lot of us experience at some point throughout life. And before I get into this, I just want to say that if you are new to yoga or these are new stretches for you, then of course, as always, listen to your body and consult your medical professional. Um, these are not a kind of one size fits all. We all have different bodies and different things that we're dealing with in our bodies, but this is just a few yoga postures that I would have in my classes anyway, that are good for sort of stretching through the lower back and that can be a source of relief to back pain, especially when practiced consistently. So doing these stretches on a regular, consistent basis really will be the key. But as always, whilst you're in the stretches, being really, really, really mindful. If you feel any sharp pains or twinges, ease off, come out of the stretch, and just listen to your body and consult your doctor if you have any kind of questions or queries beforehand. So we will get into it. So we will start with a standing forward fold. So these stretches as well, guys, you can pretty much do anywhere. So you don't have to have a yoga mat with you. You could do it in your living room. You could do it, yeah, pretty much anywhere. So stand hip width apart. So feet are hip width apart, nicely grounded into the mat, soft through the knees, and come into a forward fold. So gradually come down and allow your head to hang down. So taking as much softness as you need. And see how it feels to take your hands on the elbows here and really let your head and your neck drop, releasing any tension there. And you'll probably already be starting to feel this down the backs of your leg, maybe really up through the glutes and then your lower back. So again, just noticing how that feels. And the aim is that we want to feel a stretch, of course, but any sharp pains, like I said, they definitely ease off. We do have to be really careful when it comes to your back and your spine. So in your forward fold, bringing weight through the big toes. So bring your weight forward into the tops of your feet here. Connecting to your breathing. And we're going to be taking about 5 breaths in each position. So that's 5 nicely spaced, long breaths. So a couple more. Of course, if it feels good to take longer than you can, or if 5 breaths does feel too long for you, then you can work up to it as well and take fewer breaths to begin with. And as you practice more, then see how it feels to take a little bit longer. Okay, start coming out of the forward fold. So that is stretch number 1. Now make your way down to the mat and bend this right leg in and lengthen through the left leg. So we're lengthening through the left leg here. Again, this doesn't have to be super open. Your left leg could be about here. And stay strong through this left leg. So this left thigh is engaged, the left leg is flexed. This right knee is coming out to the side. Now, if you want to take a block or a cushion under this right leg, if it's gripping on the hip at all for you here, then you can take something to support and take the pressure off a little bit. So take whatever you need. And then see how it feels to bring this left hand to the mat and inhale, lengthen and bring the right hand up. So coming close to your ear. And maybe the opening is coming to here for you today. Come to where you can feel the stretch and the opening in your body. Again, being really, really careful about any sharp pains or twinges. Obviously, if it feels good to start coming a little deeper, then you can. You know, you can come towards this position, but being really mindful. This is not about coming into the deepest expression of the posture whatsoever. This is about listening to your body. So you should be able to feel a really deep stretch in the lower side back muscles here. If it feels more supported and helpful for you, you can plant this left hand on the mat and work here in the stretch. So this may feel more supported. So take what you need. And now we will come to the other side. So this time we're bending the left knee in, bringing the right foot out to the side, flex through the right toes, lengthen through this right leg, keeping it engaged. And again, if you want to place the right hand on the mat, big, really important thing to inhale here and lift up and out of your waist, and then sweep the left arm up towards the ear, feeling the opening. If you want to bring the right hand in and work a little bit deeper, then of course you can, but listen to your body. Again, coming to this for 5 breaths. And start to come out. And now make your way into an all fours position on your mat for pose number 3. So coming into all fours position, tabletop position. So our shoulders are roughly in line with our wrists and hips are roughly in line with the knees here. Now engage through the core, really strong through the core initially, and try and find a neutral spine to start off with. So sometimes if you have a pelvic tilt, you might naturally really dip into your spine like this, or you could have a posterior pelvic tilt where your pelvis is looking more like this. You may not have either, but I'm just pointing out, sometimes it's hard to tell in our own body. Trying to just find a neutral position. Then on inhale, you're going to lift your head and open through the chest, shine your heart forwards, working through some cat and cow. So you should feel an opening here. Shoulders are coming away from each other. You're feeling an element of space. And then on your exhale, really round the spine, drop the head, and you're puffing up and out through your shoulders. So puff up and out through your shoulders. Drop the head. Really rounding through the spine. And then on an inhale, come back, lifting the head, opening through the chest. So this is really working into the spine. Working through cat and cow. So come through a few of these. Inhale, lifting the head and opening. Exhale, rounding the spine, drop the head. Inhale, lift and open, shine the heart forwards. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Inhale, shine the heart forwards. Working through your last one now. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Meet back in a neutral position. And I'm just going to grab a little prop here. So, coming from your cat and cow position, sit the hips back onto your heels now. So this is not necessarily comfortable for everyone. If this feels strong on your knees, 2 options. You could have a cushion underneath like this, Or you could have a cushion between your hips and your heels to support you here. So find what's comfortable for you first in the kneeling position. Then start to walk your hands forwards, and we're coming into a child's pose. So this is a really restorative pose to come to. And allow your forehead to melt to the mat. But again, if your forehead is having difficulty coming to the mat, have a cushion there to rest your forehead on. Take whatever you need, and you can either stretch your hands out in front, or you can have your hands down by the side of your body. But you want to feel your hips really sinking towards your heels. It doesn't matter if your hips are not on your heels. If they're coming away, again, that's really, really normal. But just that's the direction it's going in, and then you should feel a stretch through your spine. So again, 5 breaths here. So we've got another couple more to go. And slowly start to walk your hands in, coming out of your child's pose. And now we will make our way down onto our front. So we're going to be lying on our tummy. So make your way down to your front. And place your hands on the mat. So your hands are roughly in line with your head here. The palms are facing on the mat. That's just a rough guide. There's nothing, they don't have to be exactly where mine are. And on an inhale, I'd like you to roll your shoulders back and lift your chest away from the mat. So coming into Cobra. And it's important here to activate the lower body and engage through the glutes. And your Cobra could be here. You might feel like it's nice to come up into more of a high Cobra. Again, listen to your body and do what feels right for you. If you're straining, then of course lower back down and then come back in when you're ready. Everybody lowering back down now. And we're going to inhale, roll the shoulders back and come into Cobra again. An option, if you feel like you could come into the stretch a little more and you would like to and that feels good for you, then you can come into Sphinx, which is what I am now in. So this is placing the forearms on the mat and the palms of the hands are facing the mat. So in Sphinx, our elbows are roughly under our shoulder, but that's just a rough guide. And you'll feel that your belly is starting to probably perhaps come slightly away from the mat here. So we're coming into a deeper opening through the spine. So again, staying really engaged in the glutes and the lower body, which is protecting the spine whilst we're in the stretch. And remembering to breathe and make sure your breathing's not restricted. If your breathing feels really restricted, then perhaps come back into Cobra. Again, being really mindful. Child's pose is always a good one to come back to if any of these stretches are feeling like they're getting too much. And release from your Sphinx position. Just allow the spine to settle for a moment. So rest your head on your hands. You can take a little bit of movement, shake the hips out if you need to. Just relax for a moment. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come onto our back. So just let the spine settle for a moment first. And you can bend the knees, the soles of the feet planting into the mat. And bring the hands to the side and engage through your core, and imagine that you're bringing your pelvis up and in towards the body, and you'll feel the core engages, and you'll notice the lower back, the lower spine, the lumbar spine is really connecting to the mat. And then once you come here, then slowly start to lift your hips away from the mat, coming into a bridge position with a really nicely engaged, strong core. If it's accessible, you can interlace your hands underneath here and roll your shoulders. That's just an option, you don't have to come to this. And staying strong through the glutes and the legs. Again, 5 breaths here if you can. No worries if you need to come out and then come back in. That's absolutely fine. And start to release out of your bridge slowly and carefully. You can window wipe the legs to each side if that feels good too. Give your spine a moment to settle. And then lengthen your legs on the mat. And start to hug your right knee in towards the chest, interlacing your hands around that right leg. Take some circles with the ankle here. And feel the connection with your lower spine, especially to the mat, as you hug your leg in. Again, try and take 5 breaths on each side. So once you've done 5 breaths on the right side, release your right leg and then bring your left leg in and interlace the hands around your left leg, hugging it into the body. And then take 5 breaths on this side. Really allowing your shoulders to relax to the floor or the mat. Doesn't matter if you don't have a mat, if you're just doing this in your living room or wherever you are. This pose is also really good for digestion. It's important to do the right side first, to do with the digestive organs. And it actually massages all your, well, not all of them, but most of your internal organs here. And release. And finally, a really nice one to come to, which you could come to because for some of us with lower back pain, just being in a normal Shavasana kind of lying position with your legs straight can actually, make your lower back hurt. So an option that's really nice to come to instead of this is reconstructive rest position, which is lying on your back, your knees are bent, your soles of your feet are on the ground, and you take them into a wide stance, so they're wider than your body, and then you allow your knees to drop in. And what this does is this reconnects your lower back to the mat a little more and take some of the achiness away. Again, depends on your body, depends what you're working with, but really nice one to try. Really great position that's an alternative to just a normal lying position. to take 5 breaths here. And then actually there is one really great final one that we can work through, which is a supine twist. So again, we're lying and you'll hug that right knee in and then use your left hand to guide the right knee over to the left side. And then your right arm, you're sending that straight out. I'm running out of space, but you're sending that straight out to your right side. And then your gaze is going over to the right. So again, if your supine twist may be a little bit more like this, and you're feeling the twist here, there's no right or wrong. It's literally just what feels right for you and where you can feel the twist and the stretch. So if that's here, then work with that. If you're coming over a little more, then go with that. Again, if you want to, you can prop things under your knee, so you could prop a couple of blocks here to support you, for example. Again, take at least 5 breaths. And then come back through to neutral. And then we do the same on the other side. So hug the left knee in first. Use the right arm this time to guide the left knee over to the right. So you're guiding that over into the twist. Keep your shoulder blades nicely connected to the mat. You need to come back a bit, then come back. Let your left arm come out to the side and then send your gaze over to the right. And try to release any tension that you could be holding here. So the more you surrender into the twist, your body will naturally sink further into the twist without forcing anything. Just take 5 breaths. And when you've done your 5 breaths, release. If you have time to, then please go into a Shavasana from here. Take 5 to 10 minutes at least of relaxation, perhaps in your reconstructive rest position. If not, then start to come out of the practice. Very short and sweet. I hope those have been helpful. And any feedback or requests or questions, or if you would like to try any of my classes, then please do get in touch. Most of these poses that I just went through are a regular part of the classes that I hold on Zoom on Sunday or part of my membership. So if you want to keep up that regular practice and join in with a lovely group of us, then please do get in touch. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye.